everybody, and welcome back to another video on my channel. Today I will be working on my cardboard castle room once again. Let me go ahead, I'm just gonna start off by showing you how it ends up in the end because this is a whirlwind of a video. So much happens, there's a lot of panic in this video, but we got to here. It's looking so good. In my opinion, my humble opinion, I think it's looking really good. And I'm really proud of myself because, as I've said in past videos, dry brushing is my arch nemesis. Painting, matching colors, my arch nemesis. I think that next I need to work on some of the things that are gonna go in this room because I am out of cartons. Egg cartons. I need to find more, but that's if I can find any egg cartons in stock. Again, they're still hard to get around here. In the end, it looks good. In my opinion, my humble opinion, I really like it. I'm really proud of myself. I think that as artists, we should give ourselves more credit, and if we're happy with something we made, we should just say it. I'm happy with this. And it's getting quite heavy with the layer of paint and all the cartons and things I put on it. Let's go ahead and get started with the video so you can see what's coming.
You'll have to excuse me because while I'm doing this voiceover, my allergies are kind of killing me today, so just ignore the stuffy nose. But I started off by gluing down, overgluing, as always, down the stairs, which I was very nervous to do because putting it down meant that it was permanent and I'd have to work around it. And just, you know, adding anything permanent is always scary. And then I moved on to the floors, which took way longer than I thought it would. This is a process that you definitely want to go slow enough that you don't accidentally line up two of the bricks, if that makes sense. Because when they're laying bricks in real life or stones, if they lined up exactly, the weight wouldn't be distributed between two other stones, so it would just crumble. So you have to be delicate enough to make sure that nothing's lining up. So that's where I started, and it took me a while, but I actually enjoyed it. I just put on, you know, a miniature video and watched it while I went, and it was enjoyable. It was a lot. It took a really long time, but it was enjoyable.
I've been working on getting the floor done, which is also why I have this really harsh lighting right now, is I have my aught light set up so that way it's shining into the room and it's reflecting all strange. I managed to get the floor done. It only took me a long time, maybe like, I don't even know, 4 hours maybe. And then it hit me after I was done that I still have the walls and the ceiling to do. This is kind of like a 2.0 trying to do what I did to the steps in my last video. If you haven't seen that one, go ahead and watch that one. Trying to redo that on the floor. We'll see if I can get a better result this time. I do like how they ended up like looking in the end, but I kind of, there's certain things I don't like, but I'm hoping that this will work out better. I am a little worried because some of my grout lines are too big for what I'm trying to do, but I'm telling myself, which is true, I'm not just lying to myself, that I can cover it up because this is an abandoned room, so it can be covered. So I'm gonna turn on the camera so you can see where we're at on the floor. So as you can see, it's coming all the way up to the edge. I'm going to end up wrapping this up right here in cardstock or something, so that way you can't see the corrugation in this. And then I put a little Playmobil, because that's actually half scale. Playmobil figures are half scale, so you can see it in the setting. And that is supposed to be a person in this room. Sorry if you can hear the squeaking, my chair's very old. And then these, I'm going to try to paint to match that. So wish me luck. We're gonna see how this goes.
As I talked about in my previous video, I'm not the best at color theory and trying to figure out, you know, pulling colors out of things from real life. So this part was kind of a struggle for me. But what I did is I just tried to layer the colors when they were still very wet so they could blend together, just like I did with the stairs. And in the end, as you'll see, it was a little pure chaos in this section. But you know, I'm learning and I'm getting better.
Back with the harsh lighting. I just did the floors and I'm not gonna lie, I'm not liking them, but I'm staying hopeful because I wasn't liking the steps at first either. And I'm hoping that this is just the ugly phase of the flooring, but I want to show you where I'm at because I want to just be open and honest about each step of this process. I feel like being open and honest shows other people that sometimes you don't like what you're making, but it can end up well, you know, something along those lines. I just want to show you every step of the process in case, you know, someone else is struggling with what they're doing. It's very yellow this time. I'm hoping again though that once I need to do the Mod Podge still once it dries, and then I need to do a gray wash and then a black wash in the recesses. So I'm hoping at that point it'll look darker and better. I just did mostly the yellow and blue for variation. I followed the tutorial, but I was doing it mostly for a variation in color. So let me go ahead and turn around the camera and I'll show you where we're at. This is what it's looking like now. It's not bad. In fact, in a certain setting, I actually think this color of tiles could, or rock could look nice. It's just in an old medieval castle, I don't think they really fit that well. And also back here is what the color is supposed to look like once it's done, once I've done all the washes and everything. So I'm hoping I can color match it for the most part. That's something I'm a little worried about because I'm not good at color matching things. Let's hope that this looks at least somewhat similar. But for now I need to let it dry so that way I can do the Mod Podge layer.
While waiting for the floor to dry, I decided to move on to the wall. And this part I was nervous about because there are all these different lines, the curving, and I was nervous that it would be difficult, but as I'm going to say shortly, it was actually easier than I thought. And again, this was enjoyable. I just threw on a little miniature video in the background, and sorry I keep hitting my camera. I'm still learning the tricks of the trade of YouTube.
There was a little bit of a mishap with the stairs. I originally painted them and I thought they looked good, but I thought that maybe they weren't the correct color, but I still forged ahead with it and I was trying to match them when I was doing the floor, and that just didn't work out. The floors looked so different. I had to just redo the stairs, so they're a completely different color than they were in the last video and earlier on in this video, so I'm gonna turn you around and show you. But I also went ahead and started working on the wall. I have not painted it yet, but I did start putting up the egg cartons. I finally went through, I lost my egg carton pieces. I finally went through and cut up the rest of mine. This is definitely not gonna be enough. I think you'll be able to finish the wall and maybe the other wall in this video. And then I'll have to save the back wall with the windows and then the ceiling for a later date. I'm gonna have to eat a lot more eggs because this did not go as far as I thought it would. I'm gonna go ahead and turn you around and I'm gonna show you. I do really like how the stone turned out now. I think that it is a little different. The grout didn't necessarily work because I think I used too much isopropyl alcohol and then too much watered down glue and it kind of dissolved it. I think it's gonna look really good once it has some moss spread around and things like that. Here is how they're looking now. In this lighting, it looks kind of light, but it's not. It's a darker color. Let me turn off this lamp back here. Sometimes my outlight gives a false color. It's actually more close to this color in real life. So it's this dark gray, and then it has, I did a dark wash on it as well as a dry brush of like a whiter color. So I'm halfway done with this wall over here. A little bit over halfway actually. I'd say like 2/3 of the way. Have not started this wall. I feel like maybe there's too many time lapses of just me putting up these cardboard pieces, but surprisingly, as long as I took the cardboard piece and I pre-bent it like this, it just stuck right on here. I didn't have any troubles with these pillars, so I'm really happy. I didn't think about it, but I'm really nervous that these words underneath here from the junk mail I used might show through. I might have to do a black wash as well at some point. I did a black wash on the floor as well, so I'm hoping that you won't be able to see the words. It is bowing a little bit, which I'm not sure if that's from the glue or the water I used, but I don't think you'll be able to notice it too much once it's on the shelf. Let's hope that I can get this wall and this wall done for this video. It's a very windy day in California today, so you're just gonna have to excuse my hair because it's not doing anything really. I went ahead and I finished the 2 walls while off camera, just because I felt like you would already probably watched enough montage if I edited this correctly of me doing it that you probably didn't need or want to watch more. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn you around and show you what's done so far, and then I'm going to paint this, and I'm very nervous to do that. Here's the first floor. I managed to fix some of the bowing by putting down the plaster of Paris on this because it's so heavy that it kind of just like fixed it for the most part. It still needs a little bit more, but I think if I keep putting that on here, it'll help. But as you can see over here, I finished this wall, did this wall, ran out of egg cartons for this, so I'm gonna have to keep collecting. And then this as well needs more egg cartons. I'm gonna go ahead and try to match the side colors to this. Oof, wish me luck.
I always go back and forth on the consistency of washes. Should they be more watery? Should they be more paint? In this instance, I started off with more water, but it wasn't covering up some of the text that was on the egg carton, so I ended up having to make it more watery, and this was where I think some of the chaos really started in this video. If anybody's worried, don't worry. That cup that I'm using for the wash is not real. It's not worth money. It's not a collectible. It's just a cheap thing I bought. It's not real. And I just decided to use it for wash because I could not find anything to hold enough water for this wash job.
Having an issue on this side with the dollhouse Band-Aid because I used junk mail because I was trying to use recycling. And the issue is that the words were showing up because I Mod Podged the papers down, so none of the wash was sticking to the paper, and you can see all this white. You can still see a little bit because I'm not finished. But what I decided to do is I decided to just do a black wash that's mostly paint in between some of the cracks to already give it some shading. I'm gonna go ahead and do it on this other side because I haven't done it yet. And I think that if I do this, when I do the next layer of Mod Podge and then the plaster of Paris and then the dry brushing, I think this will help just add a little bit of shading that I didn't necessarily have on the floor. I don't think I want to go back and change the flooring because I've already changed the stairs once, and changing it again seems like a lot, but I do think that this will work. So I'm gonna go ahead and add this as well to the other side, the shading. I think it'll help because it's like in between a lot of the bricks to make it just give it some darker points, because one thing about the flooring is I tried to do some shadowing afterwards and I don't really like how it looked, so I covered it back up. But I'm hoping that by doing this, it might look nice. I'm gonna do that to the other side, and then we'll progress. There's gonna be a lot of drying time tonight though. I'm probably gonna do this in between black shading on the other side and then let it dry overnight, because this is a very wet project and I'm working with cardboard, so I'm afraid it's gonna warp. Gonna do that and then probably call it a night, but for you it'll be 2 seconds. I'm trying to remind myself that every miniature has its ugly stage, because I'm definitely in it right now. Such a struggle. It's something to really remind yourself every time you're working on a miniature that there's always gonna be like an ugly stage, a stage where it's not looking how you want it to. And you just have to keep pushing through that and get to the good stage, because I'm in the thick of it right now. But I'm gonna keep on persevering. That's not even a word, so I need to go back to crafting.
Here you can see me working with the plaster of Paris. I'm wearing a mask, as you should always wear when working with this. But honestly, I should be wearing a better mask. This was not good enough, so make sure you're wearing a very good mask when doing this.
So we run into quite the problem, and it's more than just my really messy cart back there. While I was trying to color match one of the walls, I kind of ruined it. And when I say ruined it, I'm being honest. I think I legitimately ruined it. And I kind of had a momentary panic attack. I'm gonna tell you what we're gonna do to fix it, but first I'm gonna show you how it looks. This is what I was trying to match. This gray color with the light brushing on it. And this is how it turned out. Now, this is not at all how it's supposed to look. I somehow messed up everything. Every step somehow ended up really messed up. And this doesn't look bad necessarily if all of it looked like that. However, it's in a very stark contrast. And the other wall looks very similar to this. So let me tell you how I'm gonna fix it. I had a momentary panic, like I said, and I decided that I'm not good enough yet at color matching to try and fix this. I just know that I can't. I think this is a word of warning to people who are doing something like this to remember your steps. Because the reason why I ended up looking like this is because I thought I had used a certain brown, that's my dog flapping his ears over there. I just gave him some ear medicine. I thought I had used a certain brown wash, and then I used that brown wash, realized it was not a brown wash, but it was too late and it already stained all the grout. So that's not something I can really fix. But what I decided to do for the rest of this project is in just spur of the moment, I decided to go to Michael's to get more paint. Because not only that, I had also run out of the gray I was using. What I decided to do is I decided to just get big tubs of paint. One is going to be the base coat for the entire room. I'm not gonna mix any. You are drinking so loud, sir. I think he's done. So what I decided to do is I picked a color that I liked, and I decided instead of trying to mix colors, I'm just gonna paint the whole room this color. It's a darker gray, which is kind of what I wanted from the beginning anyway. I mixed black and gray to try and match the wall to the floor, and I think that's where it all started to go downhill. So I'm gonna paint the whole thing this color. Unfortunately, that means, yes, again, the stairs are being painted for the 3rd time. Now he wants to eat. So we're just gonna talk through it. I've already painted the stairs over again, but this time I'm gonna stick to this color because I got this as my dry brushing. So this is a lighter gray. And I think these will look really good together. So my plan, this needs to go on record. So if I come back and I can watch this video and know what I did when I finally do the roof, this is going to be my base coat. Then I'm going to do a very watered down black to get into all the crevices to add some shadow. Very watered down. And then I'm gonna pat it dry, and then I'm gonna dry brush with this. That is my plan. I don't know if it's gonna work. I'm so stressed. I thought last week's was all over the place, last week's video. This one's even worse, so I apologize, but hopefully in the end, we come out victorious because I need this win. I need this win. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started on that. For full transparency's sake, I thought about not including this in the money that I spent on this project because this is stuff I would buy anyway for my crafting that I'm not necessarily only buying for this project, but then I decided for full transparency's sake, I will include it in here because it is something I'm spending money on this craft. These were on sale. I ended up spending $9.28 for both of them, or they weren't on sale, but I had a coupon for 25% off. So combined with the $5.23 that I spent on the plaster of Paris, I have spent $14.51 so far on this project for materials I didn't already have. Let's hope that this works. I need the win.
I actually think that in the right setting, this could look good, this color. It looks like a burnt castle, and that could be cool, but in this instance, it just wasn't working for what I needed it for. So unfortunately, all this work had to be covered up, but I think it's for the best.
This is the end result. Look at all of that beauty. It kind of reminds me of something I know I've seen before in the past. I think maybe it's like a plastic castle that I've seen that was a toy when I was a kid. Maybe I'm making that up. I feel like it looks familiar. The way I painted this looks very familiar to me. I can't think of why. But overall, I'm really happy with how it turned out, despite my panic attack in the middle of all of this and having to rush out to Michael's at 7 p.m. on a weeknight when I had to work the next morning just to get this done, because I really was like, no, I have to get this done. I have to go right now. I have to, because if not, I was gonna stress about it. But I really like how it turned out. I think next week though, I am going to take a break from this project because there's another project I'm working on that will only take one video length to finish it. I've already started recording it, and I think I need a break. I think I need a week off from this project. You might hear my dog in the background. I think next I'm gonna be working on some of the things that are going into the room, like maybe some of the tables, some of the benches, maybe some glassware, silverware. I'm not exactly sure. I also need to figure out what to do with the roof because I was gonna do stone originally, but were medieval castle roofs stone? Don't know. So I need to do some Googling and some research and find out. Overall, I'm very happy with how it turned out. If you have any suggestions, as always, please leave them in a comment below. I would love to hear from you. If you liked the video, make sure you hit the like button below. And if you loved the video, please hit that subscribe button below. And until next time, I will see you later. Goodbye.